Listen closely, because what we are about to explore is the invisible architecture of your reality. There is a game being played around you right now, in the silent atmosphere of your daily life. It is a game that determines who rises and who falls, who struggles in perpetual darkness, and who walks in an unexplainable light of favor. Most people are playing this game blindfolded. They are fighting with shadows, wrestling with circumstances, and shouting at the scoreboard of life, wondering why the numbers never change regardless of how hard they sweat. You have likely been taught that life is a battleground where you must fight for every scrap of happiness, but that is the fundamental misunderstanding that keeps the doors of success locked tight. Life is not a battle, and it never was intended to be a struggle against a hostile universe. Life is a game of giving and receiving, a game of boomerangs where every thought, every word, and every hidden belief you send out returns to you with terrifying mathematical precision. The tragedy for so many sincere and hard-working people is not that they are incapable of success or that they are destined for failure. The tragedy is that they are using the right tools in the completely wrong order. You have been attempting to drive the vehicle of your destiny with passion and effort, but without the steering wheel of alignment. You have been taught to use words to describe your reality, saying, "I am tired," or "I am broke," or "I am lonely," not realizing that in the high court of the universe, you are not describing your reality, you are prescribing it. You are sentencing yourself to another day of the exact same conditions you claim to hate. We are here to dismantle the old operating system that believes power comes from force, strain, and anxiety. We are here to introduce you to the true physics of the spirit, which dictates that power comes from a settled, unshakable inner authority. To understand this, we must look at the two distinct archetypes that exist within the human spirit, the beggar and the commander. This is not about your financial status or your job title. It is about your energetic posture before the universe. Most people, even those who act confident on the surface, are secretly approaching life as beggars. The beggar mindset operates from a position of lack and separation. When the beggar wants something, they approach the universe with a hidden energy of desperation. They may say positive affirmations, they may create vision boards, and they may shout, "I am wealthy" in the mirror every morning, but underneath those words is a trembling frequency of fear. The beggar hopes the universe will be kind. The beggar asks, "Why hasn't it happened yet?" The beggar constantly checks for evidence because they do not truly believe the order has been received. The universe, which is a perfectly tuned echo chamber, does not hear the words the beggar speaks. It hears the anxiety behind the words. It picks up the vibration of "I do not have," and it dutifully reflects that vibration back as more lack. This is why you can say, "I want to be successful for 10 years and remain in the exact same spot." The phrase "I want" is a declaration of absence. It is a confirmation that you do not currently possess the thing you desire. The universe, which is neutral and precise, says, "Yes, you are wanting, and so you shall continue to want." This is the trap of the beggar. It is the exhaustion of trying to manipulate the external world while your internal world remains in a state of poverty and doubt. In stark contrast stands the commander. The commander does not shout. The commander does not strain. The commander does not beg the universe for favors. The commander understands the law. When a commander speaks, it is not a wish, it is a decree. In the ancient texts, it is written that you shall decree a thing, and it shall be established unto you. Notice the word established. It implies structure, firmness, and reality. The commander speaks from a place of having, not wanting. Even if the bank account is empty in the physical realm, the commander knows that the supply exists in the invisible realm, and their word is the bridge that brings it across. The difference between the beggar and the commander is not in the volume of their voice, but in the certainty of their soul. The beggar speaks with a question mark at the end of their vibration. The commander speaks with a period. When the commander says "success is mine," They are not trying to convince themselves. They are stating a fact as calm and undeniable as the sun rising in the east. This is the posture we must cultivate. It is a shift from hoping to knowing, from trying to being. The universe does not respond to your need. It responds to your seed, and your seed is your dominant state of consciousness. You must understand that the universe is not a stubborn gatekeeper that you have to wrestle into submission. It is not an entity that decides whether you deserve good things based on how much you have suffered. That is a human concept, not a spiritual law. The universe is more like a giant, creative mirror. If you stand before a mirror and frown, you cannot force the reflection to smile by shouting at it. You cannot scrub the mirror or break the mirror to change the image. You must change your face. When you smile, the mirror has no choice but to smile back. It is law, yet most people are shouting at the mirror of their lives, demanding a change in circumstances while refusing to change the internal expression of their consciousness. This leads us to the heart of the misunderstanding of power. We have been conditioned to believe that if we are not worrying, we are not caring. We think that if we are not stressed, we are not working hard enough. But in the realm of metaphysics, worry is actually a form of negative prayer. When you worry, you are using your powerful imagination to visualize exactly what you do not want. You are directing the creative substance of the universe into molds of fear, disaster, and limitation. You are essentially telling the universe, "This is what I expect," and the universe, in its absolute compliance, begins to arrange the circumstances to prove you right. Real power is the ability to stand in the middle of chaos and maintain a sense of divine order. Real power is looking at a closed door and knowing, with absolute certainty, that it is simply a redirection to a better entrance. It is the ability to speak to the invisible as if it were visible. When you begin to operate as a commander, you stop asking, "How will this happen?" because you know that the how is the domain of the infinite intelligence. Your job is the what. Your job is the definition of the desire and the maintenance of the belief. When you try to micromanage the universe, when you try to force specific people to do specific things or force money to come from a specific source, you are actually limiting the infinite channels through which your good can flow. We are about to walk through a process that will rearrange your mental furniture. We are going to move you from the exhausting state of the beggar who is constantly waiting for permission to live to the empowered state of the commander who gives permission to life to prosper them. This is not about magic words or superstition. It is about spiritual mechanics. Just as there are laws of aerodynamics that allow a heavy metal plane to fly, there are laws of consciousness that allow a human being to rise above their circumstances. But you cannot defy the law and expect to fly. You must align with it. The frustration you have felt up until this moment is not because you are broken. It is simply because you have been pushing on a door that opens inwards. You have been using force where you should have been using flow. You have been shouting at the sky like it owes you money instead of realizing the sky is waiting for you to cash the check of your own belief. Everything you are seeking is also seeking you. The opportunities, the relationships, the health, and the wealth are all hovering in the invisible atmosphere, waiting for a specific signal to manifest. That signal is not your desperation. That signal is your alignment. As we move deeper into this journey, remember that your word is your wand. It is the tool that slices through the confusion and establishes order, but a wand in the hands of a fearful person creates chaos. A wand in the hands of a calm, centered commander creates miracles. We are going to teach you how to steady your hand. We are going to teach you how to speak not from your throat, but from your gut, from that deep place of knowing that sends a shockwave through the fabric of reality. You are not here to struggle. You are here to remember who you are. The game is not rigged against you. The game is simply waiting for you to learn the rules so that you can finally play to win. Now that you have decided to step out of the role of the beggar and into the role of the commander, we must understand the machinery that operates behind the curtain of your reality. You must understand the environment in which your soul lives and breathes. Imagine for a moment that you are standing at the edge of a colossal, ancient canyon. It is so vast that the other side is hidden in mist. If you were to lean over the edge and scream, "I am so lonely," into that abyss, what would happen? The canyon would not pause to analyze your statement. It would not judge whether you deserve to be lonely. It would not try to comfort you. It would simply, mechanically, and precisely return your own voice to you, amplified 1,000 times over, saying lonely, lonely, lonely. This is the most accurate metaphor for how the universe interacts with your consciousness. The universe is not a judge sitting on a throne, deciding who is good and who is naughty. The universe is a perfectly tuned, impartial, and somewhat mischievous echo chamber. It is a mirror that reflects your inner face, not your outer mask. This is the mechanism that explains why good people often suffer and why those who seem less virtuous often prosper. It is not about morality. It is about resonance. The echo chamber does not care what you want. It only cares about what you are vibrating. This brings us to the terrifying and liberating truth that you do not get what you want in life. You get who you are. Most people spend their entire lives shouting at the canyon, trying to convince the echo to change without changing their original voice. They scream, "I want more money," but the vibration they are emitting is the fear of poverty. They scream, "I want to find love," but the frequency they hold in their heart is the desperate belief that they are unlovable. The echo chamber acts with the precision of a computer. It ignores the polite words you speak to your neighbors, and it ignores the hopeful wishes you post on social media. It listens to the deep, resonant hum of your core beliefs. If you say, "I am wealthy," but your stomach churns with anxiety every time you open a bill, the echo chamber hears the anxiety. It hears the scream of lack. And because it is a faithful servant to your vibration, it returns more lack to you. It creates circumstances that justify your anxiety because it is proving you right. We must understand that the universe acts as a giant yes machine. It has no ability to say no. It only knows how to agree with your assumed reality. If you wake up in the morning and groan, thinking, "Today is going to be a struggle," the universe instantly signs the contract and says, "Yes, today will be a struggle. Let me arrange the traffic and the rude emails to confirm it." If you walk around with a heavy heart thinking, "I never get any breaks," the universe says, "Yes, you never get any breaks. Watch this opportunity slip through your fingers." It is constantly eavesdropping on your internal monologue, not to judge you, but to take instructions from you. This is why the beggar mindset we discussed earlier is so dangerous. When the beggar prays from a place of, "I hope this works, because I am afraid it won't," the echo chamber picks up the dominant signal, which is the fear that it won't work. The fear is always louder than the hope, because the fear feels more real to you. Let us go deeper into why we fail to control this echo. The problem is that we are often double-minded. We say one thing, but we expect another. We are like a person who hires a painter to paint their house white, but then stands behind them whispering, "I bet you're going to paint it black." The universe is confused by your mixed signals. You state an affirmation for 5 minutes in the morning, saying, "I am divinely guided." And then you spend the next 16 hours worrying, stressing, and complaining to your friends about how lost you feel. The 5 minutes of affirmation are drowned out by the 16 hours of contradiction. The echo chamber is democratic. It counts the majority vote. If the majority of your day is spent in worry, worry wins the election of your life. This is why the echo chamber requires consistency. It requires a stubborn refusal to accept appearances. When you shout into the canyon, "I am successful," and the immediate echo comes back as a bank overdraft, the amateur gives up. The amateur says, "See, it doesn't work." But the master understands that there is a delay. The echo takes time to travel. The current circumstances of your life are just the echo of your past thoughts. They are dead news. They are the fading sound of who you used to be. Do not be fooled by the echo of the past. You must continue to shout the new truth until the new echo overrides the old one. You must stand at the edge of that canyon and declare your new reality with such conviction that you drown out the noise of your history. Consider the people you know who seem to be lucky. They glide through life and doors seem to open for them automatically. You might think they are favored by fate, but if you listen to them closely, you will hear their secret. They expect things to go well. They have an assumption of favor. They treat the universe like a friendly partner. If something goes wrong, they shrug and say, "This will work out." And because they truly believe it, the echo chamber rearranges the chaos into order. Conversely, look at the people who are always in crisis. They are addicted to the drama of their own suffering. They bond with others over their complaints. They wear their struggles like badges of honor. They are unconsciously telling the universe, "I am a person who struggles," and the universe lovingly keeps them in the struggle to maintain their identity. Let us go deeper into why we fail to control this echo. The problem is that we are often double-minded. We say one thing, but we expect another. We are like a person who hires a painter to paint their house white, but then stands behind them whispering, "I bet you're going to paint it black." The universe is confused by your mixed signals. You state an affirmation for 5 minutes in the morning, saying, "I am divinely guided," and then you spend the next 16 hours worrying, stressing, and complaining to your friends about how lost you feel. The 5 minutes of affirmation are drowned out by the 16 hours of contradiction. The echo chamber is democratic. It counts the majority vote. If the majority of your day is spent in worry, worry wins the election of your life. This is why the echo chamber requires consistency. It requires a stubborn refusal to accept appearances. When you shout into the canyon, "I am successful," and the immediate echo comes back as a bank overdraft, the amateur gives up. The amateur says, "See, it doesn't work." But the master understands that there is a delay. The echo takes time to travel. The current circumstances of your life are just the echo of your past thoughts. They are dead news. They are the fading sound of who you used to be. Do not be fooled by the echo of the past. You must continue to shout the new truth until the new echo overrides the old one. You must stand at the edge of that canyon and declare your new reality with such conviction that you drown out the noise of your history. Consider the people you know who seem to be lucky. They glide through life, and doors seem to open for them automatically. You might think they are favored by fate, but if you listen to them closely, you will hear their secret. They expect things to go well. They have an assumption of favor. They treat the universe like a friendly partner. If something goes wrong, they shrug and say, "This will work out," and because they truly believe it, the echo chamber rearranges the chaos into order. Conversely, look at the people who are always in crisis. They are addicted to the drama of their own suffering. They bond with others over their complaints. They wear their struggles like badges of honor. They are unconsciously telling the universe, "I am a person who struggles," and the universe lovingly keeps them in the struggle to maintain their identity. You must become vigilant about what you are feeding the echo. Every thought is a seed. Every word is a command. You cannot afford the luxury of a negative thought. This does not mean you suppress your emotions or pretend to be happy when you are sad. It means you stop identifying with the negativity. You stop claiming it as yours. Instead of saying, "My anxiety is killing me," which is a powerful command to the echo chamber, you say, "I am feeling a passing emotion, but it does not belong to me." You disown the negative echo. You refuse to claim the package you didn't order. The logic here is unbreakable. If your outer world is a reflection of your inner world, then you cannot change the reflection by wiping the mirror. You must change the face in front of it. You must begin to cultivate a sound of success within your soul before the evidence appears. You must hum the tune of freedom while you are still in prison. You must speak the language of health while you are still sick. This is not delusion. This is the mechanics of creation. The echo always follows the voice. The physical always follows the spiritual. You are the cause. The world is just the effect. As we prepare to move into the specific shifts you need to make, remember this image of the canyon. Carry it with you. Every time you are about to complain, every time you are about to gossip, every time you are about to verbally tear yourself down, stop. Visualize that sound wave traveling out, hitting the wall of the infinite, and barreling back towards you with increased velocity. Ask yourself, do I want this to return to me? If the answer is no, swallow the words. Change the frequency. Speak only what you wish to see amplified. Speak only what you desire to inherit. Because in this great hall of mirrors that we call life, you are the only one speaking, and you are the only one listening. The world is just the echo of your own soul. Now that we have established that the universe is an echo chamber reflecting your own being back to you, we must address the practical application of this truth. You cannot simply flip a switch and instantly change a lifetime of conditioning. You must install a new operating system in your mind. To move from the struggle of the beggar to the authority of the commander, you must undergo 3 specific internal shifts. These are not intellectual exercises that you memorize and forget. These are biological and spiritual alterations to how your nervous system processes reality. Without these 3 shifts, your affirmations are merely empty noise. With them, your words become legislative decrees that the universe is bound by law to obey. The first major shift is the transition from wanting to expecting. This sounds subtle, but the energetic difference between these 2 states is the distance between heaven and hell. Wanting is an energy that pushes things away. When you say, I want this, you are simultaneously declaring, I do not have this. Wanting is focused on the absence of the object. It is a vibration of lack, a hunger that is never satisfied. The universe, hearing your vibration of wanting, faithfully gives you more opportunities to want. You remain in a state of perpetual desire, always chasing the carrot on the stick but never tasting it. Expecting, however, is a vibration of possession. It is the calm assurance that the order has been placed and the delivery is inevitable. Think of the difference in your body language when you hope a friend might visit versus when you know they are coming for dinner. When you simply hope, you might sit on the couch in your pajamas, the house might be messy, and you are passive. But when you expect them, you clean the house, you set the table, you prepare the food, and you unlock the front door. You act as if they are already there. This is the active faith that Florence Scovel Shinn spoke of. You must prepare for your good. Most people are asking the universe for a harvest, but they have not bought a single barn to store it in. They are asking for wealth, but they treat their current money with disrespect. They are asking for love, but they sleep on a single side of the bed with a wall of pillows, leaving no room for another. To shift from wanting to expecting, you must look at your life and ask yourself if you are living in preparation or in desperation. Expectation is characterized by a profound sense of calm. If you are anxious, you are still wanting. If you are calm, you are expecting. Calm is the language of the commander, because the commander knows the troops are moving, even if he cannot see them yet. The second shift is the movement from anxiety to divine order. This is perhaps the most difficult shift for the modern mind, because we are addicted to timelines. We think we know exactly when things should happen. We have decided that we should be married by 30, rich by 40, and retired by 50. When the universe misses our arbitrary deadlines, we fall into anxiety. We look at the clock and scream that time is running out. But you must understand that anxiety is actually a form of atheism. When you are anxious, you are essentially saying that you are alone, unprotected, and that the infinite intelligence has lost your address. You are doubting the competency of the architect of the universe. To shift into divine order is to surrender your watch to the universe. It is to understand that the timing of the universe is not based on your ego's impatience, but on a complex coordination of events that you cannot see. What you perceive as a delay is often protection. The plane you missed might have been the one destined for turbulence. The job you didn't get might have been the one that would have destroyed your health. The relationship that ended might have been clearing the space for your soulmate. When you live in anxiety, you are judging the entire movie by a single freeze frame. You are looking at a chaotic scene and declaring it a tragedy, while the universe knows it is just a plot twist, leading to a triumph. The shift to divine order requires you to trust the sequence. It requires you to say, "If not this, then something better." It is the refusal to force a flower to bloom by prying open its petals. You simply water it, provide the light, and trust the intelligence within the seed to open at the exact moment of perfection. When you stop fighting the timing of your life, you release an enormous amount of trapped energy. That energy, which was previously wasted on worry, can now be used for creation. You become magnetic because you are no longer vibrating with the frantic frequency of a person running out of time. You walk with the unhurried grace of someone who knows that what is meant for them cannot pass them by. The third and final shift is the transformation from micromanaging to cooperating. This is where we address the illusion of control. Most of us are trying to be the general manager of the universe. We not only tell the universe what we want, but we also try to dictate exactly how it must be delivered. We say, "I want to be wealthy, and it must come from a lottery win on Tuesday." We say, "I want to be happy, but it must be with this specific person who broke my heart 3 years ago." By dictating the how, you are strangling the what. You are closing 1,000 doors to keep one locked door open. You are trying to micromanage infinity. The human mind is limited. It can only imagine a few possible ways for a desire to manifest. The infinite mind has millions of ways, most of which you would never dream of. To cooperate means you focus entirely on the what, the end result, the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and you leave the how completely to the wisdom of the universe. It is a partnership where duties are clearly defined. Your job is to hold the vision. The universe's job is to arrange the logistics. Imagine you are in a restaurant and you order a complex dish. You do not run into the kitchen and tell the chef how to chop the onions or how high to turn the flame. If you did that, you would only ruin the meal. You sit back, you drink your water, and you trust the chef. Yet, in the game of life, we are constantly barging into the kitchen of the universe, demanding progress reports, questioning the methods, and trying to cook it ourselves. This interference creates resistance. It slows down the manifestation because you are blocking the flow with your doubt and your insistence on doing it your way. The shift to cooperation feels like a deep exhale. It is the realization that you do not have to figure it all out. You do not need to know where the money will come from. You only need to know that supply is your divine right. You do not need to know how the healing will happen. You only need to know that health is your natural state. When you stop micromanaging, you become open to happy surprises. You allow the universe to deliver your good through unexpected channels, through strangers, through coincidences that look like miracles, but are simply the natural operation of a law that you finally stopped obstructing. These 3 shifts, from wanting to expecting, from anxiety to divine order, and from micromanaging to cooperating, form the tripod upon which your new reality will stand. If you can maintain these 3 inner postures, you become unbeatable. You are no longer fighting against the current of life. You are floating on top of it, letting the mighty river of the universe carry you to a destination far grander than anything your small, anxious mind could have ever planned. You become a clear channel. The static noise of fear dies down, and the clear signal of your intention goes out. And because the signal is clear, the echo is clear. The doors that seemed sealed shut will begin to click open, not because you kicked them down, but because you finally found the right key. That key is your own state of being. You are the door and you are the key. It has always been you. Before we hand you the wand, the specific affirmations that will open these doors, I want to ask you a small favor. If you are feeling a shift in your understanding, if you feel that click of recognition we just talked about, please take a second to hit the subscribe button and like this video. We are building a specific kind of community here, a tribe of awakeners who are ready to stop begging and start commanding. By subscribing, you are not just helping this channel. You are signaling to your own subconscious mind that you are prioritizing this wisdom. You are telling the universe, yes, I am ready for more of this truth. Join us. Let's master this game of life together. Now, let's pick up your wand. We have arrived at the moment of action. We have cleared the intellectual ground, and we have shifted your internal posture from the desperate beggar to the expectant commander. Now it is time to pick up the instrument of your power. In the ancient mystery schools, and in the deeper teachings of metaphysics, the wand was never a stick of wood. The wand was always a metaphor for the focused, laser-like projection of the human word. Your word is your wand. It is the tool that slices through the confusion of the material world to reveal the perfection of the spiritual world. But you must understand that you do not wave this wand to make something happen as if you are forcing a rabbit out of a hat. You wave this wand to dissipate the illusions that are hiding what is already there. The statue of your success is already inside the block of marble, and your word is the chisel that chips away the excess stone to reveal the masterpiece. When you speak these affirmations, you are not pleading with the universe. You are aligning your vibration with a reality that already exists. You are tuning the radio dial of your soul to the station where your song is already playing. Let us begin with the foundation phrase. This is the bedrock upon which all other decrees must stand. Most people navigate life with a map that is constantly changing, reacting to every detour and dead end with panic. They need a compass that points true north, regardless of the weather. This affirmation is that compass. It is, I am divinely guided, and everything that is meant for me comes to me at the right time, in the right way. You must chew on these words before you swallow them. Notice the phrase in the right way. This is your safety clause. How many times have you wanted something, perhaps a specific job or a relationship, and you forced it into existence, only to find that it brought you misery and stress? You got what you wanted, but you lost your peace. When you add in the right way, you are telling the infinite intelligence that you only accept blessings that come with peace, with dignity, and with joy. You are filtering out the chaos. And when you declare at the right time, you are instantly dissolving the poison of impatience. You are stepping out of the frantic timeline of the ego and into the perfect rhythm of the divine. Now let us address the walls. Every person listening to this has a wall in their life right now. It might be a wall of debt, a wall of sickness, a conflict in a relationship, or a creative block that refuses to budge. The natural human reaction to a wall is to push against it. We strain, we struggle, and we bruise our shoulders trying to knock it down. But the law of non-resistance teaches us that what you resist persists. The more you fight the wall, the stronger it stands because you are feeding it your energy. The commander does not fight the wall. The commander speaks to the wall. The affirmation for dissolving obstacles is this: nothing can block what is divinely mine. Obstacles are friendly. They are merely stepping stones. This statement is a radical act of psychological alchemy. By calling the obstacle friendly, you strip it of its power to terrify you. You are declaring that this problem has not come to destroy you, but to redirect you or to strengthen you. You are changing the definition of the event, and when you change the definition, you change the outcome. You must understand that there are no true obstacles in the divine mind. There is only flow. What looks like a rock in the river is actually part of the path. When you speak these words, you are not hoping the obstacle goes away. You are realizing that the obstacle is an illusion of perspective. But what about the heavy burdens we carry? This is perhaps the most critical application of the wand. You cannot manifest a new life while you are crushed under the weight of the old one. You cannot catch a new opportunity if your hands are full of old worries. We carry bags of resentment, sacks of fear about the future, and heavy luggage of regret from the past. This weight lowers your vibration and makes you invisible to the opportunities seeking you. You must learn the spiritual technology of casting the burden. This is not just a poetic idea, it is a transaction. Imagine you are hiking up a steep mountain with a 100-pound backpack. You are exhausted. Suddenly, a giant, strong guide appears beside you and says, "Give me your pack. I will carry it for you." Would you argue? Would you say, "No, I prefer to suffer"? No, you would hand it over, and you would instantly walk taller and faster. The affirmation for this release is, "I cast this burden on the infinite intelligence within, and I go free to be loving, harmonious, and happy." You must visualize this transaction. When you say the words, physically feel the weight leaving your shoulders. If you are worried about money, say, "I cast this financial burden on the God mind within, and I go free to receive abundance." Once you have cast the burden, you cannot pick it back up. If you start worrying about it 10 minutes later, you have stolen the backpack back from the guide. You must catch yourself and say, "No, I have cast that. It is not mine to carry anymore." This lightness is what attracts miracles. The universe cannot deliver goods to a mailbox that is stuffed full of junk mail. You must empty the box. Casting the burden is how you empty the box. Let us move to the affirmation of supply. Many of you are blocked because you believe that money is difficult, that the economy is your source, or that your job is your only lifeline. These are false idols. Your job is not your source. Your job is just one channel. The economy is not your source. The economy is just a fluctuation of statistics. Your source is the infinite abundance that created the universe. To reconnect the pipe to the reservoir, you must use your wand to declare your heritage. The affirmation is, "I have a magical work in a magical way. I give magical service for magical pay." This rhyme, often used by Florence Scovel Shinn, serves a specific purpose. It bypasses the cynical, logical mind. It sounds playful, like a song, and that playfulness tricks the ego into relaxing its guard. It reminds you that work should not be drudgery. It should be the expression of your talent. It reminds you that you are not here to beg for a paycheck. You are here to be paid for the magic that only you can bring to the world. When you speak of magical pay, you open your mind to income sources you never considered, unexpected checks, refunds, gifts, and opportunities that defy the logic of the spreadsheet. We must also address the affirmation for those who feel they have missed their chance. There is a pervasive fear that my ship has sailed, or I am too old, or I made too many mistakes. This is the voice of the limited self. The infinite self knows no time and no loss. In the divine economy, nothing is ever lost. It is only recycled into a new form. To reclaim your power, you must declare, "I restore the years that the locusts have eaten. My good is timeless and endless." This is a decree of restoration. It signals to your subconscious that you are hitting the reset button. You are refusing to identify as a has-been or a failure. You are declaring that your potential is just as fresh today as it was 20 years ago because spirit does not age. The doors that open for you today will be better than the doors that closed yesterday because you are wiser now. You are more prepared now. The past is not a prison. It is a library. You have learned the lessons and now you are ready to graduate. Finally, we must talk about the affirmation of intuition. Your logic is a useful tool, but it is a terrible master. Logic can only calculate based on what has happened in the past. It cannot see around the corner. Intuition is your connection to the drone camera flying high above the maze. It sees the exit that your logic misses. To activate this guidance, you must invite it. You must give it permission to override your stubborn intellect. The affirmation is, I am open to inspired action. I move when guided, and I rest when guided. I trust the hunch. This is crucial because many people are affirmation junkies. They sit on the couch saying positive words, but they never move their feet. The wand of the word is meant to light up the path so you can walk it. When you speak this affirmation, you will start to get nudges. You will feel a sudden urge to call someone, to turn left instead of right, to buy a certain book. That is the echo returning to you as guidance. You must obey the hunch. The hunch is the delivery system of the miracle. As you integrate these affirmations, remember that the power is not in the repetition alone. The power is in the feeling of relief that comes with them. If you say, I am wealthy, but you feel like a liar, stop, switch to, I am open to the flow of abundance. Find the sentence that makes your stomach unclench. Find the sentence that makes your breath deepen. Your body is the lie detector test for your affirmations. When you hit the right phrase, you will feel a click. You will feel a settle. That is the moment the wand has made contact with reality. Do not let a single day go by without picking up your wand. Do not let the news or the complaints of your peers disarm you. You are a creator walking through a world of unformed clay, and your mouth is the kiln that fires the clay into your destiny. Speak with boldness. Speak with audacity. Speak until you see the walls crumble and the roads open. The wand is in your hand. Use it. We have now reached the hidden basement of the human psyche. We have spoken about the echo chamber, the shifts of consciousness, and the wand of your word. But there is a reason why so many people, even after learning these truths, still find themselves running in place. They have the right keys, but they are standing in front of a door they are secretly afraid to open. This brings us to the most uncomfortable and yet the most liberating realization you may ever have on your spiritual journey. You might be addicted to your own struggle. There is an invisible contract signed in the deepest recesses of your subconscious mind that says, if I do not suffer, I do not deserve. We call this the invisible loyalty to struggle. To understand this, we must look at the stories we have been fed since childhood. We are told that life is a vale of tears. We are told no pain, no gain. We are raised on movies and myths where the hero must bleed, lose everything, and nearly die before they are allowed to triumph. We have romanticized the starving artist and the tortured genius. We have equated stress with importance and exhaustion with virtue. Somewhere along the line, you internalized a dangerous lie, that ease is suspicious. If something comes easily to you, you think you cheated. You think it's too good to be true, and so you wait for the other shoe to drop. You subconsciously brace for impact, because your nervous system is not wired for peace, it is wired for crisis. This loyalty to struggle is the reason why, the moment things start going well, you might find yourself picking a fight with your partner, or procrastinating on a deadline, or suddenly getting sick. It is not bad luck. It is your internal thermostat kicking in. You have a happiness limit. When your joy exceeds that limit, your subconscious mind panics. It says, this is unfamiliar. This is unsafe. Let's get back to the familiar baseline of stress. And so, you self-sabotage to bring yourself back down to the struggling state that feels like home. You are not afraid of failure. You are accustomed to failure. You are actually afraid of success because success requires you to abandon the identity of the hard-working victim that you have curated for so long. We must break this contract today. We must tear it up and burn the pieces. You must understand that the universe is efficient. Nature does not struggle. The grass does not strain to grow. The planets do not groan as they spin in orbit. The rose does not suffer to bloom. They function in a state of divine ease. Struggle is friction caused by going against the flow. When you insist that things must be hard to be valuable, you are introducing artificial friction into a frictionless system. You are like a swimmer trying to swim upstream, fighting the current, exhausted and drowning, while the river is trying to carry you to the ocean of your desire. The swimmer thinks his effort makes him noble. The river thinks he is insane. This addiction to difficulty is often a form of arrogance. We think that if we work 18 hours a day and burn ourselves out, we are somehow earning our keep on this planet. We are trying to prove our worth through our wounds, but the Spirit does not require your wounds. The Spirit requires your alignment. You do not need to pay for your blessings with pain. They have already been paid for. Your inheritance is waiting, but you cannot claim it with a clenched fist. You must open your hand, and an open hand is a relaxed hand. So, how do we dissolve this old loyalty? It starts with a radical new permission. You must give yourself permission to receive with ease. This sounds simple, but try saying it. I allow my life to be easy. Watch the resistance that comes up. Watch the voice that says, that's lazy or that's selfish. That voice is the guardian of the old contract. Smile at that voice, but do not obey it. You are retraining your nervous system to tolerate well-being. You are teaching your body that safety does not look like hypervigilance, safety looks like relaxation. When you begin to embrace ease, you will notice a shift in how you work. This is not about doing nothing. It is about the difference between force and power. Force is banging on a locked door. Power is finding the key. When you operate from ease, you become efficient. You act when the timing is right. You speak when the words are ready. You stop pushing the river and you start steering the boat. You will find that you can achieve more in 2 hours of inspired flow than you used to achieve in 10 hours of anxious grinding. The world will call it luck. You will know it is alignment. There is a powerful spiritual paradox here. The less you strain, the more you gain. This offends the ego, which wants to take credit for every victory. The ego wants to say, I built this with my blood, sweat, and tears. The Spirit wants to say, I allowed this to unfold through grace. You have to decide which master you want to serve. Do you want the trophy that comes with an ulcer? Or do you want the victory that comes with peace? One of the most insidious ways we stay loyal to struggle is through our conversations. Listen to how people talk. They bond over their misery. I'm so swamped. I'm so tired. The economy is terrible. It's a competition of suffering. If you step into that circle and say, actually, things are going great. My work is flowing and I feel wonderful, you risk being ostracized. The tribe of the struggling might reject you, and that is a primal fear, the fear of being cast out. But you must be willing to leave the tribe of the miserable to join the tribe of the miraculous. You must be willing to be the person who has it easy, even if it confuses those around you. Your example of ease will do more to help them than your solidarity in suffering ever could. You do not help the sick by becoming sick. You do not help the poor by becoming poor. You help them by demonstrating the possibility of health and wealth. We need to rewrite the definition of noble. It is not noble to suffer unnecessarily. It is not noble to block the flow of life. It is noble to be a clear vessel. It is noble to show the world that life is meant to be a joy, not a sentence. When you accept ease, you are actually honoring the Creator. You are saying, I trust that the system you built works. You are saying, I trust that I am loved enough to be supported without having to destroy myself. This is the ultimate act of faith. Faith is not screaming at God to help you. Faith is relaxing into the arms of the support that is already there. Here is the practice for this chapter. For the next week, I want you to treat effort as a red flag. I do not mean physical exertion. Exercise is good. Working on your passion is good. I mean the psychological feeling of strain, the feeling of pushing a boulder uphill. When you feel that tension in your chest, when you feel that frantic urgency, stop, drop the boulder, step back, say to yourself, I am trying to force this. I return to the flow. Ask yourself, what is the easy way to do this? There is always an easier way, but your tunnel vision of struggle prevents you from seeing it. Maybe the easy way is to make a phone call. Maybe the easy way is to wait until tomorrow. Maybe the easy way is to ask for help. When you ask for the easy way, the universe, which loves efficiency, will show it to you. You must also learn to interpret delays not as problems, but as positioning. When the loyalty to struggle is active, a delay makes you panic. You think, here comes the fight. But when you are loyal to ease, a delay makes you curious. You think, something better is rearranging itself for me. You stop calling them problems, and you start calling them preparations. This shift in language changes the chemical reaction in your brain. You stay in the creative mode instead of the survival mode. Let us seal this new agreement with a declaration. I want you to internalize this. I hereby cancel my contract with struggle. I did not come to this life to suffer. I came to expand. I release the guilt of having it good. I accept that my natural state is abundance, health, and joy. I welcome the path of least resistance. I am worth saving, I am worth helping, and I am worth the ease that is flowing to me now. As you walk forward from this chapter, you will feel lighter. You might feel a strange sensation of having nothing to worry about. That void, where the worry used to be, might feel empty at first. Do not fill it with new problems. Fill it with gratitude. Fill it with creativity. Fill it with rest. You are graduating from the school of hard knocks and entering the University of Grace. The doors are opening, not because you are banging on them, but because you are finally letting go of the handle. Walk through them with your... We have spent time soaring in the high altitudes of spiritual theory. We have discussed the laws of the universe, the power of the spoken word, and the necessity of shifting your consciousness. It is a beautiful thing to feel aligned when you are sitting in a quiet room, listening to a voice like this, feeling the warmth of inspiration washing over you. But here's the hard truth that separates the dreamers from the masters. Philosophy is lovely, but life happens on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Life happens when the baby is crying, when the bank account is overdrawn, when the traffic is gridlocked, and when your boss sends you an email that makes your stomach drop. This is what we call the Tuesday afternoon test. It is easy to be a master on the mountaintop. The challenge is to remain a master in the marketplace. If your spirituality cannot survive a traffic jam, it is not yet spirituality. It is merely an emotional hobby. The universe is not interested in how well you can meditate in a sanctuary. It is interested in how you hold your vibration when the world around you is shaking. This chapter is about the collision between your new truth and your old reality. When you start this work, when you start declaring I am abundant and I am divinely guided, do not be surprised if the world immediately hands you a circumstance that looks like the exact opposite. You declare abundance and an unexpected bill arrives. You declare harmony and an argument breaks out at the dinner table. The amateur looks at this and says, it didn't work. I failed. The master looks at this and recognizes it for what it is, the test of consistency. The universe is asking, do you really believe what you just said, or were you just reciting poetry? These moments of friction are not punishments. They are the gym where your spiritual muscles are torn and rebuilt. You do not build strength by lifting a feather. You build strength by lifting a weight. The pro. This brings us to the critical distinction that will save you years of wasted energy, the difference between panic action and inspired action. Most people live their entire lives in a state of panic action. Panic action is born from the belief that you are alone, that you are running out of time, and that if you do not force a solution right now, you will die. You can recognize panic action by how it feels in your body. It feels frantic. It feels heavy. It feels like a tightening in the chest and a buzzing in the head. It is the energy of the drowning man thrashing in the water. The drowning man thinks that by thrashing, he is saving himself, but in reality, he is only exhausting himself and sinking faster. When you act from panic, when you send that desperate text message, when you take that job you hate just to get a paycheck, when you argue to prove you are right, you are broadcasting a vibration of fear. And because the echo chamber is always on, that fear must return to you as more chaos. Action born of anxiety creates more anxiety. It is a law. You cannot plant a seed of panic and harvest a fruit of peace. Inspired action is a completely different species of movement. It does not come from the spinning mind, it comes from the quiet center. Inspired action is not about forcing the door open. It is about walking through the door that has just clicked unlocked. How do you know the difference? Inspired action feels inevitable. It feels logical in a way you cannot explain. It feels like a click. It is the hunch we spoke of earlier. When you are in alignment, you might suddenly get an urge to turn left instead of right. You might feel a sudden impulse to call an old friend. You might feel a quiet prompt to buy a specific book. There is no adrenaline in it. There is no fear of what if I don't. It is simply a green light. And when you follow that green light, you find that the road is P. So, how do we apply this on a Tuesday afternoon when the crisis hits? Let's walk through a scenario. Let's say you receive a notification that a large sum of money has been deducted from your account, money you did not expect to lose. The old program, the beggar mind, immediately screams danger. Your heart races. You start projecting into the future. I won't be able to pay rent. I will be homeless. I am a failure. This is the moment of the test. If you act now, if you call the bank screaming, if you yell at your spouse, you are acting from panic. You are solidifying the loss. You are agreeing with the poverty. The commander takes a different approach. The commander feels the fear but does not buy the ticket. The commander stops. Physically stops. Put your hands in your pockets. Sit down. Close your eyes. Do not take a single action until you have shifted your state. You speak to the fear. You say, I see you, but I am not you. Then you return to your wand. You use an affirmation to stabilize the ship. You say, God is my supply, and every need is met now. This situation is here to bless me, and I await the solution. You wait. You breathe. You bring your nervous system back to neutral. It might take 5 minutes. It might take an hour. But you do not move until you feel the panic subside and a sense of calm authority return. Only from that place of calm do you look at the problem. And from that place, the solution looks different. You might realize it was a bank error. You might get an idea for a gig that pays double what you lost. Or you might simply realize that you are safe regardless of the money. That is inspired action. It is action taken after alignment, never before. This practice of stopping is your most powerful weapon. We are conditioned to think that doing something is always better than doing nothing. But in the realm of metaphysics, doing nothing from a place of trust is infinitely more powerful than doing everything from a place of fear. Stand still and see the salvation is not a command to be lazy. It is a command to be stable. When you stand still in the storm, you are telling the universe, I am not afraid of this wind. I know my foundation. That lack of reaction is the ultimate display of power. When you stop reacting to the drama loses its fuel and dies out. Let's apply this to relationships. Another common Tuesday afternoon battlefield. Someone insults you, or overlooks you, or treats you unfairly. The ego wants to lash out. The ego wants to set the record straight. That is panic action, the panic of feeling diminished. The commander realizes that their value is not on the table. Your worth is not up for negotiation. When you know who you are, you do not need to defend yourself. You can look at the other person with curiosity instead of anger. You can say to yourself, I am divinely protected, and only love can reach me. You respond with silence, or with a calm question, or you simply walk away. By not engaging in the fight, you preserve your energy. You keep your vibration high. And very often, the other person, feeling no resistance from you, loses their will to attack. You have won the war by refusing to fight the battle. This is the art of the non-reaction. It is the ability to look at a fact, a bill, a breakup, a diagnosis, and refuse to accept the fearful implication of that fact. Facts are temporary. Truth is eternal. The fact may be, I have no money in my pocket. The truth is, I am provided for by the infinite. When you face the fact with the fact must eventually yield and reshape itself to match the truth. But if you face the fact with fear, you cement the fact into place. You must learn to look at the world with a double vision. One eye sees the problem, but the other eye sees the solution already formed in the spiritual realm. You walk through the problem with your eyes fixed on the solution. The Tuesday afternoon test is also about patience. We live in an instant gratification culture. We want the affirmation to work instantly. When it doesn't, we dig up the seed to see if it is growing, which kills the seed. You must develop the patience of the farmer. The farmer does not stand over the soil, screaming, grow. The farmer trusts the process. When you are in the waiting room of life, waiting for the call, waiting for the check, waiting for the healing, you must occupy your mind. Do not sit there worrying. Occupy your mind with gratitude for what is already there. Clean your house, do your work, love your family. Enjoy your coffee. What is meant for me will not pass me by. Say that when the waiting feels long. The quality of your waiting determines the quality of your arrival. If you wait in frustration, you arrive exhausted. If you wait in trust, you arrive ready. There is a secret power in treating your life as a movie that you are watching rather than a tragedy you are suffering. When the crisis hits, imagine you are sitting in a theater eating popcorn. Watch the character of you on the screen. See the challenge. Wonder, I wonder how the hero gets out of this one. This slight detachment, this observer mode breaks the hypnotic grip of the drama. It reminds you that this is just a scene. It is not the whole movie. And because you are the writer, the director, and the star, you know that a happy ending is guaranteed if you stick to the script of faith. Living the truth means you stop compartmentalizing your spirituality. You do not leave God at the door when you walk into the office. You do not leave your affirmations in the car when you walk into a difficult family gathering. You bring the truth with you. You become a walking sanctuary. You become the thermostat, not the thermometer. A thermometer just reflects the temperature of the room. If the room is angry, the thermometer is angry. A thermostat sets the temperature. If the room is chaotic, you set your dial to peace, and eventually the room must cool down to match you. That is the ultimate goal of the Tuesday afternoon test. To be so anchored in your new reality that you change the atmosphere simply by walking into the room. So, tomorrow, when the test comes, and it will come, do not be dismayed. Do not say, "Why is this happening to me?" Say, here is my opportunity to practice. Here is my chance to be the commander. Smile at the test. Greet the bill, greet the traffic, greet the annoyance. They are your training weights. Lift them with the leverage of the law. Lift them with the strength of non-resistance. And when you go to bed that night, having navigated the minefield without losing your peace, you will feel a power surging through your veins that no book could ever give you. You will know that you are no longer just a reader of the Word. You are a doer of the Word. You are living the truth, and nothing on this earth can shake a soul that has found its footing in the divine. We have now traveled a great distance together on this journey of the soul. We have walked from the valley of the beggar, where we pleaded with a silent sky, up to the mountain of the commander, where we learned to speak with the authority of the law. We have explored the echo chamber of the universe, picked up the wand of the word, and learned to navigate the treacherous terrain of our own hidden loyalties to struggle. Now we arrive at the final gate. This is not merely a summary of what we have learned. This is the moment of integration. This is the moment where information transforms into wisdom, and where a concept transforms into a living, breathing reality in your bloodstream. You may have started this video seeking a way to get things, but if you have listened with your heart, you are ending this video realizing that you are here to express who you are. The getting is merely a side effect of the being. As we close this circle, there is one final, supreme truth that must be branded onto your consciousness, because without it, all your affirmations will eventually turn into exhausted desperation. That truth is this: the universe does not respond to intensity, it responds to clarity. For too long, you have been taught that if you want something bad enough, if you cry loud enough, if you work hard enough, and if you pray with enough frantic energy, God will finally hear you. But this is the old superstition of the struggle. The infinite intelligence is not deaf. It does not need you to scream. It does not need you to strain your spiritual muscles until they tear. It is closer to you than your own breath and nearer than your hands and feet. A clear whisper is infinitely more powerful than a confused shout. Think of a radio signal. You can turn the volume up to the maximum level, but if the station is not tuned clearly, all you will get is loud static. Most people are broadcasting loud static to the universe. They are shouting their desires mixed with their fears, their hopes mixed with their doubts, and their demands mixed with their unworthiness. The universe receives this chaotic signal, and being a faithful mirror, reflects back chaos. The master understands that power lies in stillness and precision. The architect does not throw bricks at a pile of mud and hope a house appears. The architect sits in a quiet room and draws a clear, precise blueprint. Once the blueprint is clear, the building is inevitable. You are the architect of your destiny. Your affirmations are not heavy bricks that you have to haul around. They are the lines on the blueprint. When you say, "I am abundant," do not say it with the grit of a fighter trying to punch through a wall. Say it with the calm satisfaction of an artist who has just brushed the final color onto a canvas and knows it is good. Say it with the finality of a judge bringing down the gavel. The gavel does not need to be heavy to end the trial. It just needs to be decisive. This is the shift from trying to knowing. Trying is noisy. Knowing is silent. The sun does not try to rise in the morning. It simply rises. The earth does not try to spin. It simply spins. The oak tree does not try to grow. It unfolds according to its internal design. You are part of this same natural order. The struggle you have felt is simply the friction caused by your doubt. When you remove the doubt, the friction disappears, and you enter the slipstream of grace. This is what we mean by the final integration. It is the moment you stop wrestling with the angel and start dancing with the divine. You realize that the doors you were trying to kick down were never locked. They were simply waiting for you to turn the handle. As you move forward from this moment, do not worry if you cannot remember every single affirmation or every single technique we have discussed. The details are less important than the direction. If you remember only one thing, remember the posture of the commander. Remember that you are not a victim of circumstance, but a creator of circumstance. When the world shows you a picture of lack, do not accept it as the final truth. Look through it. See the abundance that is hiding behind the appearance of poverty. When the world shows you a picture of sickness, do not agree with it. Look through it. See the perfect health that is the spiritual prototype of your body. This is the double vision of the mystic. One eye sees the world as it appears. but the other eye sees the world as it truly is in the divine mind. You must walk by the vision of the second eye. You will fall off the wagon. You will have days where the Tuesday afternoon test gets the better of you and you react with panic or anger. Do not judge yourself. Do not spiral into guilt. Guilt is just another form of the beggar mindset. Simply notice it. Say to yourself, "Ah, I see I have picked up the old baggage again." And then, gently, without drama, set it down. Return to the center. Return to the affirmation. I cast this burden on the Christ within, and I go free. The path of mastery is not a straight line of perfection. It is a constant, gentle correction of the course. Every time you return to the truth, you make the neural pathway stronger. Every time you choose clarity over chaos, you are voting for your freedom. I want you to take a moment right now, wherever you are, to feel the shift that has happened during this time we have shared. You are not the same person who started watching this video. Something has been deleted from your program, and something new has been installed. You are leaving the tribe of the strugglers, and you are joining the tribe of the awakeners. You are giving yourself permission to be one of those lucky people who seem to glide through life. You are accepting that it is safe to be happy. You are accepting that it is safe to be wealthy. You are accepting that it is safe to be at peace while others are in turmoil. You are not serving the world by joining in its suffering. You are serving the world by holding the light so that others can find their way out of the darkness. If this message has found a home in your heart, I invite you to make a tangible act of alignment right now. By subscribing to this channel, you are not just clicking a button, you are making a declaration. You are signaling to your own subconscious mind that you are prioritizing this wisdom. You are saying, "I choose to feed my mind with truth." You are joining a community of commanders who are rewriting the script of their lives. Share this video with someone you know who is still stuck in the struggle. Be the one who hands them the key. When you share the light, your own candle does not lose its flame. It only makes the room brighter. As we part ways, I want to leave you with a final decree, a benediction to carry with you into the silence of your own life. Let this settle into your bones. All is well. The past is forgiven. The future is assured. The present is powerful. I am where I am supposed to be. I am doing what I am supposed to do. I am divinely supported in every step, in every breath, and in every thought. The game of life is a game of joy, and I am playing it with the Master's hand. Go now and speak your reality into existence. Do not wait for the evidence to appear. You are the evidence. The door is open. Walk through. And one last thing before you go. The journey of alignment doesn't end here. It begins here. If you found value in this session, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with someone who is currently stuck in the struggle. Be the one who hands them the key. And if you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed. We have much deeper waters to explore in the coming videos, and I don't want you to miss the next wave of insight. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your trust. And thank you for being the light. I will see you in the next video.